So skypad has always led the glass mousepad scene for quite a while. There have been a lot of companies that have tried making glass pads, but skypad was always in a league of its own. With the latest release, the SP-004, after renaming themselves to Wallhack, they've once again proven why they are at the top. Long story short, this is one of the best and hands down the fastest glass pad to date. However, there are some major things to consider before getting this. Let's start off with what the pad does great at. Firstly, the surface. The SP-004 has a smooth surface with minimal texture. It's not silky smooth like the Pulsar Superglide, but it definitely doesn't have that harsh grainy feel on the earlier versions of this pad. There's still some texture on it, but you'll only notice it when you slowly move your hand across the pad. In-game, the texture is so subtle that it probably won't be felt. I really like the surface because the older skypads used to irritate my skin, and along with the hardness of the pad itself, the texture becomes a lot rougher, unlike cloth pads that allow your arm to sink a little into the pad like a pillow, which adds some comfort. The glide is amazing as expected of a glass mousepad. There's basically no static and dynamic friction, which allows for really quick and surprisingly precise mouse movements. People assume just because it's a really fast pad that has no stopping power that it directly translates to being difficult to be accurate with, but that is further from the truth. The stopping power that a lot of control pads have work to stabilize your shots, incidentally making it harder to move your mouse by accident and mess up your crosshair placement. This is most important in TAC FPSs that have a one-shot kill system, which prioritizes ensuring the crosshair is steadily placed onto the head. Micro adjustments, however, require the complete opposite. Having friction that increases the amount of force needed to move your mouse will only make finer movements harder. You can try this by placing your hand onto the desk or mousepad and move around. When you're just resting your hand, you can swipe around really easily. The moment you press your fingers in and create friction, that's when you notice tugging and sluggishness. Even though adjustments feel easier on the 4.0, it does require more control from the user, so lowering your sensitivity can temporarily compensate for that. The speed itself for this pad is fast, like really fast. It takes no effort to do any swipes, and combined with the dot skates on my BeastX Mini, this thing glides so well. Compared to the 3.0, this pad is noticeably faster, but not by a large margin. It is an incremental upgrade in terms of speed and smoothness, being just a tiny bit smoother to the touch. While you can tell the difference between the two, both are good regardless of which one you have. If you compare it with the Superglide, however, the difference is more evident, with the Superglide having a balanced feel between speed and control to its surface, whilst also being completely smooth. The SP-004 is a better in-between solution in theory, as having just a little bit of texture reduces the amount of stickiness the pad has to your hand, while also not being super rough to your skin, but in practical use this doesn't work at all, which I'll explain later. The base of the pad has also changed. The SP-004 base covers the entire pad like the Superglide, which on paper should be an upgrade from the older versions that use 4 small patches to hold the entire pad down, but it's hard to tell the difference in day-to-day use. They both sit on my table really well and don't move around even when I put pressure onto them. Nonetheless, it's nice. I rarely have issues with mouse pads moving around anyways, but having a base that's supposed to grip better is a bonus. Now let's talk about the reasons why you won't buy this, even though it might be the best glass mousepad out right now. I mentioned the surface being nice to the touch, smooth with a little hint of texture, but to achieve this smooth finish, the pad has this polished coating feel to it, similar to how something laminated would feel. This makes the pad extremely sticky when you have any moisture on your hand, and it's pretty annoying when your arm gets stuck the moment you sweat, making movement way harder. Getting a sleeve does solve this issue instantly, but not everyone enjoys playing with the sleeve. I'm one of them because even though my skin is considered dry, it does sweat quite a bit during summer, and having a compression sleeve in the summer is just pain. You've had a 3-hour session with your mates and now you have to peel the sleeve off your arm, and that wet feeling of the sleeve pressed against your arm does not feel great at all. So if you are a sweater and you enjoy using faster pads, then maybe go for cloth or corduroys instead. On a side note, I did get one of their arm sleeves because it was half price at the time of my purchase, and it's not bad. The design is decent, though it does have this gamer feel to it, but the performance is what stands out the most, with very consistent friction generated on several different pads with a variety of surfaces and speed. The next point is going to be about the durability of the pad. The SP-004, like other glass pads, are really long lasting and don't wear out at all. The toughness of it though can be questioned. I like using headsets from time to time, and when I'm going to get some water or I need to use the bathroom, I tend to just chuck my headset down and leave. With any other surface, it's okay, but when it comes to glass, if you accidentally scrape your pad, then you get a chance of damaging it. My skypad 2.0 has a small crack that you can feel when you slide the mouse across, and now I always pay extra attention when putting stuff down onto the table, or at least very gently, which can be beneficial because it trains you to be more careful as a person, but I couldn't care less. I just want to quickly get out of my desk and do whatever I need to do. Now the last con I want to mention is the price. The SP-004 cost $120 and the price is expensive. It's not a complete deal breaker, but if you already own a skypad, does it justify making this upgrade? Maybe if you had the original one, I can see it being worth your money, but if you have a 2.0, 3.0 or any other recent glass pad like the Glaze, like the Super Glide, you really aren't getting much benefits apart from a slight speed increase. It's not like a cloth pad where there are different types of weaves and softness which can change how the mouse glides that are also on average at a lower price point. Plus, plenty of cloth pads tend to collect a lot of dust particles that can't be completely cleaned even after a wash, which can serve as an extra reason to go get a new one. Glass pads on the other hand are super easy to maintain with regular cleaning using water and a microfiber cloth. This can allow someone to just get one glass pad and be good to go for a couple of years, but that can also eliminate the need to upgrade. So overall, I really like this pad. Like I said earlier, it's definitely the fastest pad I've tried and I would be using this for quite a bit. However, that doesn't change the fact that glass pads are a more niche category and it's honestly hard to recommend getting it even if you want to try a glass pad, since you can also find ones that are on sale right now. That essentially lets you try it out, see if you like it while making it less painful even if it's not for you. The only reason I would get the 4.0 is if I want the fastest pad out right now and I have the extra money to spend, otherwise I'd skip it.